You're listening to Plus Size Divas with Deanna and Carmen, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hello, every worthy, beautiful, unique body out there. Welcome back to our show. I am Carmen Renee, aka Eat the Cake 2.
I am Deanna at Deanna Bomchica, and together we are
the Plus Size Divas. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you are all following us on all of our social media platforms. If you're not, you should be. We're on Twitter and Instagram at 2 Plus Size Divas, and we're on Facebook and YouTube at the Plus Size Divas. So make sure you're checking us out. If you missed any shows, go to YouTube, subscribe, watch, share, all that good stuff.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
You're out of air.
I know. All right. Well, we want to start by thanking our sponsor for the week, Cordoba Creatives.
Yes.
If you've checked out our pictures for the last week, he's an amazing photographer. He also has amazing space in LA, like 2,200 square feet, something like that, for, you know,
parties,
photo shoots, parties,
video shoots,
anything and everything.
Events,
it's a really cool space.
whatever.
He's constantly changing it. Amazing photographer. So make sure you're checking it out. Cordoba Creatives and Cordoba Photography, both on Instagram.
Follow him on the gram and hit him up.
Seriously, we say this and we're not kidding. Please support our sponsors because they support us, and without them, there's no us.
There's no us. There's no us. You guys, really excited this week. I mean, this is season 1 of the Plus Size Divas, and I said in a post this week that we have been really blessed. We're killing it. But we have been really blessed to have like the most amazing people be our guests. Yeah. Honestly, inspiring, incredible people willing to be honest and real and talk about body positivity and self-love and all the things that have been going on. But you guys, this week, I have to tell you that in my personal opinion, the person that we have that I'm going to introduce to you is probably one of the most inspiring people I've ever met in my life. I met him and my entire perspective on life changed, and I'll tell you why. Because sometimes as humans, we want to sit there and like feel bad for ourselves and like, oh, blah, 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 and whine, or like, my life isn't the way I want it to be, or whatever. And then you meet Emmanuel Kelly, and he has such a riveting story. And the fact that this man's perspective is so positive and so bright, and he is so wonderful that it's kind of mind-blowing. It's kind of mind-blowing, and you change people's lives like the minute you meet them. So everybody, I want you to welcome our guest for this week. And he was on X Factor, and we'll get into all of that good stuff. Some amazing opportunities he's had. Everybody, this is Emmanuel Kelly. Say hi.
Hey, guys.
Thank you so much for being on
Thank you so
with
much.
us. We're excited to have you.
¿Cómo estás? Okay, so you hear the funny little accent he has. So, Emmanuel, I want you to tell everybody, because
everything's better with an accent.
Everything's better with an accent. You're so much sexier with an accent, by the way. Just so you know.
Thank you.
Just like here's your sexy level, and then it's
and
like,
then
you know,
it's just another level.
And then it's a whole. You're like a 12 on like
Got
a
you.
1 to 10. No,
right.
but listen. We're going to get to the X Factor thing. We're going to get to the Coldplay thing. We're going to get to the Phil thing. We're going to get to all of the opportunities that have come from your artistry. But can you please just really quickly tell everybody your story, where you were born, how you got to Australia? Please just share.
I was born in a cabbage patch.
Come on.
No. The truth is this. I was born in Iraq.
Okay.
I was found in a box in a park in Iraq in the middle of a battlefield and taken to an orphanage where I was then raised there for 7 years of my life. And the reality is I should be dead.
Correct me if I'm wrong, weren't you with your brother? Or no?
No, I wasn't. So my brother isn't my biological brother.
Oh, he isn't. Okay.
But I do say one thing, and that's the only thing thicker than blood is love.
Right.
Right.
Wow.
And so I was taken to the orphanage where I was raised there for 7 years.
In Iraq?
In Iraq.
Okay.
And during this entire time in Iraq, in this orphanage, I had seen bombs, gunshots, heard them left, right, and center every day, wondering whether I was going to live or die.
Right.
Right. This was my journey. This was my life for 7 years of my life.
Right.
Right. And so that fear inside of me just grew every day. But somehow I had this little hope inside of me, right? This little thing saying that I can make it.
Right.
And so I did. And this incredible woman, Moira Kelly, she had heard about me in an orphanage in Albania. And this nun, sister, never trust nuns. They've always got ulterior motives. They're good, but they're ulterior. But she goes up to Mum and she says, Moira, she says, listen, there are these 2 boys. Do you want some vodka while I tell you this story? No, she didn't say that. But she did say that there are these 2 boys and they need your help. And so Mum made a long trip. It took her a while to decide, but she then realized who is she to decide whether some child should have a chance and an opportunity to live or die, right? That's not her decision to make. And so she got on a plane, she traveled, she got into Jordan, got in a taxi, traveled 8 hours. And I remember 3 days prior to her arriving, I remember thinking, I remember just waiting for her, right? Sitting on this window ledge, waiting every single day.
So they told you she was coming. Somebody was coming to potentially adopt you.
To potentially help us.
Help.
Not even adopting, nothing was in that, just to help, right?
Okay.
And that's all we wanted at that point, right? And so she arrives, and for 3 days I was sitting on this window ledge waiting for 6 hours straight, just waiting. And eventually she arrived at the orphanage. I remember thinking 3 things, right? Number 1, can she help us and will she help us, right? Number 2, is she an angel? Because she was wearing a white dress, blue eyes, blonde hair. I remember exactly what she looked like. Like, it was beautiful, right? And then number 3, how on earth did this white woman get in this country? Because she was seriously white.
Oh my gosh.
She was scarily white, like albino white, right? And so anyway, she comes into the orphanage and she says, she takes us out for the day and we sing this welcome song and she takes us out for the day and she says, and at the end of the day, my brother, who's not my biological brother, he says, can you help us? And will you help us? And she says, I'll do my best. And he goes, well, if you can't take both Emmanuel and I, just take Emmanuel and maybe come back for me, right?
Wow.
This kid's not even my
How
biological
old was he
brother.
at the time?
He would have been about 6 years old.
And
I
how
would have
old
been
were you?
About
Oh my
4.
gosh.
4 and 6. Okay.
Yeah, 4 and 6.
Wow.
And, about another 5 years later, or probably about 4.5, 5 years later, Mum eventually brought us to Australia.
So it took a while.
Took her a long time. Took about 2.5 years to get the visa, and then probably another 1.5 to 2 years to get things.
Wow.
To get us out to Australia.
So you finally got to go live with Mum in Australia.
Finally got to
how
Australia. I got to Australia when I was about 7.5 years old.
Now I have to ask you something, because I remember the day I met you. I remember the day I met him.
Who is this sexy man?
That was how he was, and I'm sitting here like, are you fucking kidding me? This kid is like, and what he's saying, he's not kidding. Like, he believes this. He believes he is, and he is, right? I remember that.
But I didn't for a long time.
Right, and that's what I wanted to get to.
Yeah, that's what I want to get to.
That's what I wanted to get to.
That's everybody. That's not that's not dependent, to me, it's not dependent on anything except for how you really perceive and feel about yourself. I mean,
like for me too, I want to know, because I'm wondering if you spent a good portion of the beginning of your life going, I was thrown away because I look like this, or do you feel like, I was put in that box because of the war? Do you know? Has that ever been answered for you?
I think subconsciously, I've always thought, like when I was a kid, I subconsciously thought that maybe I was thrown away because of the way I look, right?
Yep.
And so I think I overcompensated for myself. So I was entertaining as a kid, right? But I would use jokes. I would use all these different things to kind of hide the person that I am and let them just see this instead of everything else, because I couldn't embrace the reality of, every inch of me is beautiful, right? Every inch of me is gorgeous, sexy, whatever it is, right? Every inch of me I need to embrace. This is just a part of who I am, and this is a part of who I'm always going to be. So I need to embrace that. And I never really embraced that. And as I got to become a teenager, the older I got, the worse it got, right? As a kid, I did it innocently, right? I had this confidence about me, but it was an innocent approach, right? Because that's the only thing I knew, just to tell people to not look at my arms or not look at the way I walk or anything like that because I'm telling all these jokes, right? But then as I got older, to flirt with girls, to get the girls that I wanted, or to just make friends in high school, right? I overcompensated even more. Right? I would start hiding myself with a jacket, and I would always wear a jacket, even in the hottest days, right?
Right.
And so I wasn't afraid that when I would perform, I would have a jacket on, and I'd have long pants, and I would just cover up as much as I could, and it just made it worse for me, and it made it worse for, I think, everyone else that was watching, because all they wanted to do is they wanted to see this kid embrace himself, right? Because I realized I was talking about this, and every time I performed on stage in front of people and sang in front of thousands, I would always say, embrace yourself, yet I couldn't embrace my own self,
Right. And so, did you have a question?
Well, I want to, before we get too deep, I want to remind people that they can call in and talk to us or talk to Emmanuel.
Yes.
And it's 818-570-5085. Again, it should be up on the screen, but if not, 818-570-5085. And the fact that we still don't remember the number after like
But
4
listen,
months.
you guys, this kid is unbelievable. So trust me, if you have questions, if you want to say something, even if it's just you're amazing, please call in tonight.
Yes.
You did have a question though, right?
Well, I want to get into like how you got to that space, because again, every kid, has feelings like that they're not enough, that, I talk about my nephew a lot. Dia, I hope you're listening. He's 10 and he already is like, I'm too little, or I'm not this and I'm not that. And I'm like, no, you're great. You're perfect just the way you are.
Right.
But how, what was the point where you're like, I'm going to stop overdoing it and just actually accept it?
The minute I lost everything.
What do you mean?
I lost everything. So even close friends of ours, see, you and I, we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
But,
I didn't know you lost everything.
I lost a lot of things.
Okay.
About a year ago, I ended up, and not even my mum, I think, realized it, but I ended up sleeping on couches. I ended up sleeping in cars. I think one night I even slept in front of someone's house because I was afraid to just knock on their door and ask for help.
Right.
True courage comes from the ability to ask for help sometimes. And so I'd lost everything, right? I was signed to a label. Things were happening. Great things were happening. But then everything just plummeted, right? I was making lots of money, all that sort of stuff. But then everything just plummeted. And I was blaming the world. I couldn't accept that, you know what, the reality is, the sooner I realize that everything we do in our lives are a design of our own choosing, right? It's our fault, essentially. I know that's a bad word to use necessarily, but it is our decisions that create the
take
things
responsibility
that happen,
for
right?
your decision.
Accountability, right?
Right.
The minute we can take accountability of what happens in our lives, because it's our lives, it's not theirs, it's not someone else's. The minute we can take that power back, and I couldn't take accountability about the mistakes that I'd done, the managers that I'd chosen to sign with, all these different things, regardless of the red signs that I saw. And so the minute I lost everything, I realized, shit, I don't have anywhere to go except myself, right? And I had to look within, and some days I would look at myself in the mirror and I just wanted to punch that mirror and say, because I just didn't like what I saw, right?
Yeah.
But then eventually, I don't know what it was, but there was this thing inside of me that says, Emmanuel, just look inside. And I did, and I started to look inside myself more, and I eventually started to embrace the fact that this is who I am.
Yeah.
And I can never change that. And the sooner I embrace that, the sooner good things will start happening.
How old are you now?
I'm 24.
24.
Yeah.
And I probably met you, God, I probably...
When I was 18.
Yeah, you were a baby.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
6 years ago.
So what he's really talking about is the inner work.
Yeah.
And I would love to, we have a segment of the show called Be Positive.
Yeah.
And it's funny because your quote, that Carmen picks a quote every week for Be Positive, and it's kind of a positive quote, but the quote she picked kind of is
kind of,
it coincides.
Yeah.
It says, actually, Reese Witherspoon said this. So
Oh, okay.
who doesn't
Go
love,
Reese.
right? I know.
Reese
Cute.
go.
She's so cute.
She's cute.
It says-
She's ever single. Hey, Reese.
Wait, is she? I don't
No,
know.
she is very married.
Oh, whoops.
Dang
Just
it.
kidding.
Try again.
Okay, well, she still said this great quote. So it says, your body is just a vessel for who you are as a person. And until you work on what you give back to the world, it doesn't matter what you look like on the outside. So I loved that because I think
we have a caller.
Oh.
Wait,
Oh,
hold on. Hold on. Oh, you know who this is? Hi, thanks for calling the Plus Size Divas. Who's calling in?
Dia.
Hi, Dia.
Oh, Dia, you're watching. I'm so glad that you're watching.
I actually have a question.
Oh,
Okay.
Sup, little man?
Hello.
Okay, what's your
What's your
question,
question?
Did you get bullied as a kid? And if you did, how did you handle it?
Yeah, I when I was a kid, I did get bullied. I punched him. No, I didn't really. No, you know, bro, I just sat with the kid that used to bully me, and I asked him why. I just asked him the question why. And no one had ever asked him that question. So sometimes it's important just to, first of all, it's none of anyone's business what they think about you, right? And it's none of your business what they think about you, right? You just leave that. It's only your business to think about what you think about, right? And so remember that, first of all. And then second of all, ask that person, if you're getting bullied, buddy, ask that person why. Just ask them, why do you do this? Are you being bullied at home? Are you hurting? What's wrong? Are you okay? Ask him, because you know what? One thing I learned is if you fight hate and bullying with love, then there is nothing that can't conquer. And it may take some time, but nothing can conquer it. Do you get that, brother? Do you understand what I say? Yeah.
Like
Awesome,
rather than fight with mean words back,
that's what
fight
we talk
with
about.
like love back.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, that's why I told him. I said, you know, every bully, everybody it probably is going through their own things. We talk about this at home. You know, they probably don't have a really great, loving support system at home like you do. So, but I just think it's important for, you know, Dia to understand that like this happens and
happens to everyone, buddy. And I think you just got to ask him why. That's that simple. You just got to go up to him or her and you got to say, hey, why are you doing this to me? What did I do to you? And you know what? They'll answer. And they may answer nasty, but never ask them in front of their friends, first of all. Always ask them when they're alone. There's this, a friend of mine in Canada was getting really badly bullied at school to the point that she was getting cigarette burned on her skin, everything. And one day she asked this kid why. And he told her why, and it turned out that he was getting really badly bullied and hurt was coming his way at home, right? And so when she realized that, they became friends. And now they're married.
wow.
Shut up.
Figure that out, buddy.
Wow.
So you know what?
Oh my God.
I know. I'm with you. I'm like, what? But yeah.
Dia, I'm so glad you called in.
Yep. Stay tuned in India. This is a good one, okay?
Oh, I am.
Okay.
Love you.
Bye, Dia.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye. He's so
Oh my God, he's
cute.
so precious.
legend.
That's my
He's
10-year-old
he's a
nephew.
sweetheart.
What a little legend.
But wait, let's get back to the quote though, because that quote is real. Like, you know, if you don't do the inside work,
Well, it's the inside work, but also like more. I took it further than that. In what are you doing for other? You know what I mean? What is your purpose? That's like we know what our purpose is.
exactly.
It's so much more important and so much more significant than what this looks like. And it's not. I love that because it's like it's a bigger purpose. Yeah, I want you to work on yourself and I want us all to love ourselves. But if at the end of the day you can say, I can say, she can say like, oh, I actually did something to change somebody's life.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I think
that's
it's
way more
It's
powerful
way
than
more
how you
powerful.
look in a pair of Calvins.
When
Okay.
when you learn to love yourself, you can then love others. It's that
Yeah.
simple, right?
Yeah.
When you learn to love yourself, you can then start loving people
Right.
around you.
Right.
That's the most important thing.
Right. But the truth of the matter is, my dear,
Truth of the matter is,
it may have developed from your feeling to compensate, but you are an entertainer.
Thank you.
You guys, there's a video that we used for promo for Emmanuel coming on the show of him dedicating Imagine by John Lennon to his mom, Moira, on stage with Coldplay. And this guy, you're cool as a freaking, I'd be crapping my pants.
know.
And you're up in front of millions of people
I was stinking
playing
up
with
and-
Coldplay. How many people can say, oh, I harmonized with Chris Martin? You did.
Like, no big deal.
No big deal. I mean, fine. I'm going to tell you, you looked cool as a cucumber.
Thank you.
And you are really a born entertainer. And I think that you've scratched the surface in terms of inspiring people. And getting people to kind of see the positivity and stuff. Because when I met him, he had just come off of, in case people don't know, X Factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how, I mean, you know, you can talk about this a little bit, but how people, you know, we barely even talked about the fact that you're a singer. I
Yes.
mean,
I
like,
know.
tell us what.
He's an artist,
You
guys.
know what I mean? What I know you as a singer, songwriter, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Like, tell people who aren't
He does the
familiar and
moonwalk.
how it all
I did the
started.
moonwalk. Yeah,
How
yeah,
it
yeah.
all started.
No, I'm a singer. I'm actually secretly Michael Jackson's
Oh.
Love
son.
Oh my gosh, I can totally
Yeah,
see it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, when he was black.
Yeah.
He
God.
created me. No, I'm a singer. I went on a TV show, X Factor, and that was kind of the first time I started to gain a little confidence. But
Yeah.
even then, I when I went on that show, I just wanted fame, right? Fame,
Yeah.
glory, girls, right? Typical thing, and it worked. It
Oh
really
my
did.
God.
And I was hot and I was killing it, and things were great, and I was making money, and I was traveling the world, and I was touring, and I'd done concerts and the whole package, and I was writing songs, and it was incredible, right? But the reality is, it wasn't earned, right? I didn't earn that. I didn't earn the role that I had, and I didn't earn the person that I was becoming, right? And so I think that fear inside of me as I went on the show, and I mean, it did really well. We got 500 million views on YouTube, and it was great, right?
Right.
But the problem was, I didn't earn it, right? And I felt like I didn't earn it. And so after a while, I started to have this fear inside of me that I would be a fraud, and people would see me as that, right? And that I couldn't stand to the thing that people saw me as, right? Because everyone thought I'm an inspiration, and they're seeing me in this light, right? But the reality is, I didn't realize that actually there are so many tiers to be an inspiration. Anyone can be an inspiration. Taylor Swift's an inspiration. I
Right.
can be an inspiration in my own right, swear a ton, get with girls, get with guys, whatever it was. But the fact is, I could be an inspiration regardless whether I had achieved that or not. And I had to realize that. But yeah, no, I went on the show, and we did really well, and that's how I met Deanna, an incredible woman. Contacted my mum, saying, literally, I think she sent her resume, and that was Amy, who's a friend of ours, and she said, you know, I saw this video, and I really want to work with this kid, and so yeah, we got on a plane, and I was doing a gig out in LA at the time, and so we extended the stay, and I came out, and that's how I met Deanna, and another and a producer as well. We met. And we wrote a couple tracks, I think, and
But one was called Dream Big,
Dream Big.
which was entitled to a movie.
yes,
That you sang, and you know, and then from there, other things, you
other
know,
things kind of eventuated. Yeah, I got to sign with some managers, really good ones as well. But unfortunately, like every other artist, I also got taken advantage by sharks, and I didn't really look at the red flags, and I chose not to. Hence why I was saying before, I chose. Those were my decisions I made, right? And so I had the bad luck in any industry, but then I was able to succumb that bad luck and reignite and relaunch, and I did, and I ended up getting a #1 in Indonesia, and I ended up getting top 40 in Australia, a couple top 40s in Australia and Canada, and we did, and Spain, and we did really well. But then, like I said, as things were rising, again, that fear inside of me, that non-embracement, that even when I was on stage, I was hiding and I wasn't embracing who I was, wasn't realizing it. And I think whether people started to see it or not, I started to see it, and I started to belittle myself. Right? There's this word, genshai. It means never treat someone in a manner that's small, including yourself, right?
Yeah.
I started to treat myself really small. I started to bring myself down.
like how?
I think it was more, I started doing alcohol, and I started getting into the wrong types of crowds. I did drugs as well, and I didn't even tell my mum about it. She probably, if she's listening to this, this will probably be the first time she's ever heard it. But no, I did. That's
You're just in a really
was the
dark
world.
space, yeah.
I was just not in a good place, and I wasn't I got involved in the wrong things, the wrong people, the wrong crowds.
Mm-hmm.
You're a reflection of the 5 people you spend the most time with,
Yeah.
right? And so I started I chose the wrong people to spend time with.
Right.
And I started to get into a dark space, and I started to get depressed. And
So is that when you say you lost it all?
Yeah.
You hit that place.
Yeah.
yeah,
So you literally were here in LA, and you were at a point where you didn't have any management, you weren't signed,
Yep.
and you were like essentially homeless.
yeah.
Now, why didn't you call up mom and go back to Australia? Was that not an option? What?
I couldn't go back home. I think it was both. It was a little bit of pride, one, but my dream is to be the first. My dream is to be a pop star who happens to be differently abled, and the first pop star who happens to be
Yeah.
differently able. So then that barrier can be broken
Yeah.
down,
Yeah.
right? Whether you're gay, bisexual, plus size, brown, black, yellow, I don't give a shit. Catholic, Christian, I don't care.
Right.
But the reality is, we all bleed at the end of the day,
Yeah.
right? We all die eventually. Well, not me. I'm not going to die.
You're immortal.
But I'm immortal. But the point is,
Everyone
we're
else.
we're all equal, right?
Yes.
And we all need the ability to fight for our equalities,
Yeah.
right? And we need that ability to be able to fight. And sometimes we need someone to inspire people to fight,
Yeah.
right? Logic's doing it now with his music, you know, and I want to be able to do that with my music, right? Because that music, his music is amazing, right? It reaches so many people, but
Right.
it still only reaches a certain amount. I know that my music has the potential to reach the entire world, right?
Right.
I know that who I am as a person, and because of my different abilities, I can reach more than what any other artist has the potential to reach, or chooses the potential to
Yeah.
reach, right?
Right.
Because I think every artist has the potential, they just choose not to.
Right.
I choose to reach everyone, and I
Right.
know I can do it, but the only way I'm going to do it is if I fight through those struggles, through those hurdles, right? And I experience everything.
Right.
Like I said, dream is to be the first differently abled pop success, pop star, right?
Right.
First person who's that happens to be differently able to be a pop star, and the only way I'm going to do that is if I experience every inch,
Yeah.
the struggles, the frustration,
And stop thinking small. You know what I mean? Like you
dream
can't
big.
get
Right.
in that mindset of
Move it.
Yeah, baby.
of feeling, you know, like you were in, like you said, when you get in that space where you're belittling yourself, like you're literally like you're making your own ceiling.
Yep.
No, you
Right.
can't blame anybody else for
Yep.
that.
It's funny because you actually inspired me when we were talking about you coming on the show, because I noticed one of your hashtags or something that you put in something that you had sent me said different is normal.
Different is fucking normal.
And
Excuse my language.
I was telling Carmen that I really, really dislike the word normal, because people are like, you know, they'll say things like, that's not normal, he doesn't look normal, she doesn't look normal, whatever. And I'm like, what the hell's normal? So when you said different is normal,
Different is normal.
Yeah.
that is actually very accurate.
Do you like? Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you guys like the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Do you
don't.
like? Do you like any of the Marvel movies?
No, I'm not really into that.
How are we
Avengers.
friends? Yes.
Okay, not really.
You
Now,
really
look
piqued
at the
his
characters.
interest now.
Look at the characters in Avengers, right?
Yeah.
Each character
Yes.
is so different.
Right.
And especially
Harry Potter,
Guardians.
Guardians,
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Right.
All these characters are different,
Right.
right? And when we watch the screen, we see normality. Right?
Yeah.
To
Right.
us, that's normal.
Yeah.
Right? We watch that and we think, oh, that's so cool. A green person with a tail is so cool.
Right.
A blue girl with
Yep.
ears
Yeah.
Yep.
like a cat
Yep.
is sexy, right?
Yep.
So my question is, how come we can look at a screen,
Yeah.
a TV screen of a movie like a Marvel movie,
Something
or a
that's
Harry
not
Potter movie, or a
reality. Right.
Game of Thrones, and look at that as sexy, cool, and beautiful, yet we
Right.
can't look at our own realities
Yeah.
and believe that what we see is beautiful?
That's a really good question. Actually.
I have to tell you that I've been investigating that thought and investigating why people, you know, I was watching a TV show today and they were talking about cellulite, and one of the comments they made was like, oh my God, like she has cellulite on her ass, and they were like, ah! And I was like, wait, what? And it was like funny, you know, it's that being programmed thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's people's fears. I
Yeah.
think it's
We're
people's
afraid.
fears and psychologically their own issues.
It's easier to accept
Somebody else. Anybody
well,
else,
that,
honestly.
But it's easier to accept things that aren't reality than it is the reality
Right.
of life, right?
Right.
I get a lot of
I'd like that
messages
term.
actually that is very similar. Like, oh, and it's a little puzzling to me. Women who say, I can look at your body and think that it's beautiful. My body looks the same, and I don't see it as such. I can look at your cellulite and your big legs and say, she's sexy.
I can honestly say I do that with you. That I look at you and a lot of your posts, and I'm like, oh my God, like she's so hot. Like what the hell? And then I call you, and I'm like, I can't put up this picture. It's when you have to talk me off the ledge.
What is that? We need a Dr. Phil moment here.
We have a Dr.
We
Phil
do.
moment. Yeah,
We
I
do.
mean,
anyone want to call in and give us an answer?
Dr. Phil, are you there?
yeah, Dr. Phil, call into our show. No, but I mean, I think that is your own. Like you said, if I photographed my arm from the side and put it up for a week,
Yeah.
after a while,
Yes.
because I have some arm issues. I don't like my arm. I don't like the way my arm looks. I don't like being photographed from the side. And she was like, I'm telling you that if you put up a picture a day, a side shot, a different picture a day, you would really get over it.
Yeah.
And it's really funny because I believe it's true, because when you inspired me to do that, semi-nude shoot that we did for my birthday.
First of all, you were naked.
I was naked. But I covered my bits and
Hot
bobbles.
diggity day.
No, don't go to your phone. Listen to me. Don't go look it up. But I'm saying I was covering my bits and bobbles, but there I was, and I can honestly look at that picture, and that was very freeing. Like I could do that again. And if you had asked me 3 years ago, that would have never happened.
Yeah, so I think one of the answers is pushing yourself
And
seeing it and making it a practice. You know what I mean? Like why should I love myself? What makes me beautiful? Well, let me figure out the reasons and repeat them to myself until I believe them. That's honestly what I think. And also it's scary. You know what I mean? Like you get to a place where you have nothing, you have no limits for yourself. Like it's scary because the expectations just grew.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, I don't want to because I don't feel, when you get to a point where you're like, I love myself, I feel sexy, I feel worthy. Oh shit, now what?
Yeah. No,
Right.
exactly. We're all beautiful. I always say we're all beautiful to someone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Deanna, you're married,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So the person that you're married to sees you as a very sexy person.
To the
right?
point
They
that
love
I
you.
look at him sometimes and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you?
So the
Seriously.
but the point is, and that is, it. Like I said before, it's none of anyone's business what they think about
Right.
you,
Right.
and most of all, it's none of your business what they think about you.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Just remember, you're beautiful to him. Right?
Yeah.
If you're trying to impress everyone else, sure, you can try that. Right. Do whatever you
But
need
why?
to. But why?
Yeah.
Ask yourself why.
You're never going to be
If there's a
everybody.
purpose
You're not
behind it,
cheesecake,
sure.
right? You're not going to make
No.
everybody happy. You're
No,
not
it
cheesecake.
says you're not an avocado.
You're not an avocado.
Yeah, right. You're not going to make everybody
You're not
happy.
gonna
You're
make-
not guacamole. You know what I mean? But it's true. There's an ass for every saddle, right?
Yes,
Somebody's going to look at you and be like, that is the most incredible man I've ever
There's an
seen.
ass every saddle.
There's an
I
ass for
love
every
that.
saddle.
That's so cool.
And I happen to be the ass for my saddle back at home.
Oh.
Hey, no, but I think too, and this coincides with what we're trying to do. We explained to you a little bit before the show. Everybody out there watching what Carmen's talking about photographing yourself and looking at yourself and finding the beauty is what our Masterpiece Challenge is about. And we challenge you to that.
I'm doing
Like
it.
I said, take a photo, maybe a photo that maybe you've never taken a photo and posted a photo on Instagram with in your boxers or in shorts and no shirt and just you're there and you take a photo.
I
Oh, you have? He's like, I've
He's
taken
like,
them
I've
completely
done-
naked.
My mum told me.
I've done
don't worry.
everything.
She's
Yeah,
like,
no.
get that photo offline.
Listen to me.
Sorry, man.
Put it up again. But our thing is that we're encouraging everybody to take part in the Masterpiece Challenge where you take a photo of yourself and maybe it's a little bit vulnerable. Maybe you write masterpiece or maybe you just claim it in your post. Why are you a masterpiece? You're perfect the way God made you. And tag to other people and inspire them to do it.
And
you
we're
know?
thankful. It's been picking up. So thank you everyone who's
Yeah.
been participating
Confidently, Jules finally did hers. Yay!
and tagged you people. So you're next.
Yeah, you're next to
So
do
I
it.
gotta do it now.
Basically, we're
Yeah.
going to bug you until
Yeah.
you,
I do
you do
it.
it.
Don't worry. I'll do it.
Well,
And we're going to
listen.
call you out every week.
But
Done
we
deal.
specifically just want to inspire people to it's funny. It's interesting. Let's go to our gossip. You guys are going to love
Oh
this.
my gosh.
You guys are going to love this.
God,
So
let's go.
gossip is a segment of the show where we talk about kind of what's going on in Hollywood or everything. And last night,
We're actually calling this our Fox News segment.
this is our Fox News segment. It's really funny what happened. Let me tell you, Deanna had a dumb white girl moment. I don't know what the hell was wrong with me. But anyway, I was watching Love and Hip Hop. I especially like to watch Love and Hip Hop because I know a lot of people on there. Shout out to Bridget Kelly, hopefully going to be one of our guests this month. Lyrica Anderson, you know, a bunch of people on the show I know personally. So I watch and support. And last night, Kay Michelle was literally getting the injections out of her
implants,
her butt. And she was crying about it, and she was talking about how it's been so painful. She hasn't been able to walk. Well, she even said, I'm very regretful. And I actually, you know, on my Insta story caught where she said, sometimes the imperfect is what's perfect. Mm-hmm. And I literally got that, and I hashtagged, it was gold. I hashtagged, I am a masterpiece, love yourself. And then I tagged her in it. But you guys, I accidentally instead thought that she was Keisha Cole, and I Keisha Cole in it. Oh, y'all,
that's what we're calling our Fox.
It's our Fox News Summit. No. You guys, why did Keisha Cole DM me last night and was like, no? She said 2 words. She said 3 or 4 words. She said, no, that's not me. And I was like, whoops. So I literally tagged the wrong R&B diva when I was trying to make up. Yeah, I'm a dumbass. So anyway, shout out to Keisha Cole in my DMs. Love you, girl. You can come on the show too, whether or not you have butt implants.
And shout out to Kay Michelle. Who actually said, and you know, I think it's really important to have that she's been so real about this, you know, not only her procedure, but like how it's been for her.
And it hasn't been good. She's had a lot of complications to the point that she was even saying she couldn't walk on certain days because of what was going on back there. But anyway, all that to say, you know, the pressures of what we do to fit in, the pressures of what we do to ourselves or our bodies to look a certain way or be a certain way. It's never ending.
It is.
Yeah, it's never ending.
Never ending. And I want to add in there, I think, look, no judgment as well to those that choose to, you know what, go to the doctor and, you know, get their nose fixed, or go to the doctor because there might be some issue in their nose that you don't know about, or go to the doctor because they want a jawline, right? And they just want a little tuck there, right? I have no judgment towards that. I think it's more towards those that, as long as, regardless of those things, they accept who they are, then it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
For me, I know one day I'm definitely, when biotechnology comes out, I have a prosthetic leg. When biotechnology comes out, I'll probably go into that area. I want to fix my spine. I've got scoliosis, so I'd like to fix that, right? Yeah. But that's not me fixing myself because I want to look perfect. That's
or
me
because you want to love yourself.
Yeah, that's me fixing myself because I need to fix myself to not only feel good, feel healthy, feel strong, but be good, be healthy, be strong. Right?
Yeah, it's about being healthy.
That's it.
You know, like being healthy and taking care of yourself. You know,
if a surgery or two helps you to learn to love yourself, then I say go for it.
Right.
Because as long as there's a purpose towards it, then why not?
Yeah, I've met actually one of the things that we filmed for the same company was we did a plastic surgery episode with, you know, women who wanted cosmetic surgery, women who have had cosmetic surgery, and there are women who have had cosmetic surgery who are very happy, and it was what they needed to feel good, you know, but it doesn't. I just would
get depressed and down and hurt themselves because.
Or they think their entire world is going to flip around and change because I got boobs or I got the butt injections, or they're doing it to impress somebody else. Yes. If you're doing it for you, I'm okay with it. Now, I never was before. I was judgmental Judy. I'll be honest. That I used to be like,
I was too.
Why is she doing that?
I was too. I'll be honest.
Know, but now I'm kind of like, listen, if you're out there and you do that and it makes you feel right. But if you're doing it because you think it'll get you that movie role or that guy or that no, honey.
Well, I want to, because I know we talked a little bit before we went on air about, you know, being out here.
Yeah.
And how, you know, kind of fakey it can. I mean, I think it's important to talk about because you know, we're here in LA, but you've been to different parts of the world, different parts of the country. So
I'll be honest, and I don't mean this in any disrespect to anyone, but I think there are people in LA, and I think it's not the people necessarily. I think it's the perception that, unfortunately, the entertainment industry has created. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And so, you know, the entertainment industry was created in order to be used, not for the entertainment industry to use you, right?
Yeah.
And so, and that's what's happened with LA. And unfortunately, what it's done is it's created this bubble into LA. Even within LA, there's more homelessness per capita in Los Angeles than there is anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
India included, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of
Crazy.
scary and
Yeah, it
sad,
is.
right? So I think when you see that and when you realize that, and I've traveled all sorts of places from Vietnam, Indonesia, India, I've seen Sri Lanka, I've seen the places and I've seen the worst of the worst, right? And I'm from Iraq. I've seen hate at its pure form, right? And I realized when I came here, it was amazing for the first couple of years. But then after a while, I realized there are people in this town that aren't afraid to hurt one another just to achieve
Yes.
their dreams.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that saddens me. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm moving out of LA. But I'm not moving out because I don't like it. I'm moving out because I need positive energy.
Yeah.
So then one day, when I do achieve my dream, and I know it's happening, and it's going to happen very sooner than I probably expect,
Yeah.
right? Then that dream is going to be a message to tell those people.
And you can
in this
bring that
world.
back here and
Exactly,
start changing
exactly.
this
And I
culture that
want-
we've created.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
I mean, the entertainment business is a complete.
I don't know how it survives, honestly. But
No,
it does.
the whole thing of like, you know, when you're on top, everybody's around, and when you're not on top, you know,
Everyone's down.
remember when you were on X Factor? Everybody was your friend, right? I mean, I experienced it with AGT. People from high school that never paid me any mind were posting about me, my friend from high school, and
Right.
vote for her, and she's
Yeah.
amazing. You tortured me.
Yeah, I
Like,
had that even with the little Kim Kardashian thing. Like, okay.
Like, what is the shit you used to bully the crap out of me? You used to call me Whopper. You were
There was
horrible.
this girl in school, at my school, who made fun of me quite a bit.
Yeah.
I ended up hooking up with her on the bus.
Oh,
just because of
okay.
that.
You know
gosh.
what?
I mean,
I can't stand you.
and
I can't.
No, but the point is, right?
Yeah.
It does. That's exactly what
Yes,
happens. And
that's
it's sad.
crazy.
Yeah.
It really is.
But it's even on a grander scale when you are the likes of, you know, Beyonce and Rihanna, and that it's like, man, when you fall
got
from
to-
grace, you fall hard.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that be careful what you ask for, because when you get that life,
Yeah.
you know,
It's your choice, though. You got to remember.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel,
Yeah.
you know, people give crap to a ton of these celebs, from the Kardashians to even the Bieber, right? And
Right.
I if there's anyone that can understand what they're going through, I can, right?
Yeah.
I can understand what they're going through. It's not an easy lifestyle. And
yeah,
Yeah.
people-
you're under a
the more-
microscope.
yeah, absolutely. And the more people, the more, and when you're up top and suddenly you fall hard and no one's around you to pick you up, then it's hard. And you tend to go the wrong routes.
Right.
You
Yeah.
might pee on the street and not give a shit about the world, or buy
Right.
a monkey or whatever it is, right?
Right.
But the reality is,
Don't buy a monkey.
the reality is, right, that's even though that's the life they chose, it's still not the life they deserve. And no one deserves to be treated in a cruel way.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who you are.
Well, I'm looking forward to what you're going to do and bring that back, because I think that that's the future is
fun.
is the difference. You know, the differences is what is about to happen in entertainment and you know, Hollywood, not just Hollywood, but all of entertainment, whether it be music, acting, whatever the case may be. People are tired of seeing, and I, you know, no shade to the actors and singers, songwriters right now, but you know, we need something different.
Yeah.
It gets boring to see the same, you know, 6 actresses getting all the roles, or actors, and it's like, no, let's see actually all of us represented.
Yeah.
Well, look how Crazy Rich Asians is huge right now. It's like
know.
the first time two
know.
Asian people have ever starred in a movie.
And then
think about that.
That
It's
other movie is supposed to
2018.
come out
I
right
was
now
about
too.
to say, it's
Right?
2018.
There's a survival movie or like a missing. The guy's daughter goes missing. That's coming out too.
Yeah.
Starring 2 Asians. Like,
Yeah.
it's cool.
It's like, but it's like crazy because
Black
we're
Panther,
surrounded.
all black
Right.
cast.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
it's 2018,
Like
it's the
literally
first time
breaking
that
every
superheroes
record.
were-
right. But that's kind of thing. I have a question for you, Emmanuel.
Ask away.
What happens? You know, I was coming up. I was like, I'm gonna be the next Mariah Carey, the next Whitney Houston. I'm gonna be X, Y, and Z. You know, sometimes the definition of success changes for people. Mine definitely has.
Yeah.
what if being the biggest pop star that you claim that, what if that doesn't happen? Then what for
I
you?
always say this. I always say my response to something like that is always plan A is your plan B.
Mm-hmm.
Plan B is your plan A.
Yeah.
Plan C is your plan B and A.
Right.
And then plan D is so far behind me, it's not even there.
Yeah.
Right? It's there.
I mean, that's
know
the
what it is,
mentality
right?
you have to have.
And so I have to create
Yeah.
that mentality. So to answer that question, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
It will happen. And,
Right.
and there is no if for me, because at the end of the day, if I got $1 for every time I said if, I'd be a billionaire by now.
Right.
And you do some speaking engagements
I hope that answers
as
your
well,
question.
right?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah, I do speak every now and then and things like that, and share my story and share my my music. But music is my thing. We're about to launch my first tour, which is really
That's awesome.
exciting.
Nice.
Starting in New York, and
Let's talk about the single.
the
Yes.
single's out.
Tell us about the single. Who wrote the single?
I did.
You
Yeah,
wrote the
yeah,
single by
yeah.
yourself.
No, I had a couple co-writers in Australia. One of the co-writers is actually my mum.
Nice.
So
That's amazing.
yeah, I wrote this song years ago before we even met.
Never alone, right?
Edith's Never Alone, it's
Yeah.
called. And it's about a kid named Edith who was the first child that my mum lost in Australia.
Oh my gosh.
And she was ready to give up on everything. And I think if she did, like I said, if I'd be a billionaire, but if she did, then my brother and I potentially may not even be here right now. 'Cause
Right.
we may have had to go
Right.
back home. I don't know what would have happened, right?
Right.
Realities we don't know. But she didn't give up. She had this feeling inside of her, this voice, this experience that she'd experienced, and that was there was this voice inside of her, whether it was God, whether it's the hand of love, whatever you want to call it, universe, whatever you want to call it, it was telling her that she's not alone. She needs to fight forward. And no matter how alone she feels at times, remember that this is just a journey.
Right.
And this is just a part of the journey that's going to continue. And she has so much more to give to this world
Right.
than this moment. Right.
Right.
And so I created the melody, and then years after I wrote the song with a guy in Australia, Gary Pinto, his name is, and he's a writer, amazing writer, and my mum. And the message that I also wanted to open up with this song was, right now we're going through a huge crisis with suicide, with mental health, with inequality, right? Blacks, whites, yellow, it doesn't really matter, right? Bisexuals, gays. Immigrants, yeah, absolutely. Refugees, things like that, right? And so for me, those moments, those inequality moments, those depressive moments that you have, in my opinion, the inequalities and all those moments create the want to hurt yourself, create the want to commit suicide.
Just give up.
Just to give up,
Right.
right? And so this song is designed to inspire those people to never give up,
Right.
to never feel that they're alone, because
Right.
they're not.
Right.
There's always someone there.
Right.
Never feel alone, never be alone. Just remember it's a part of a journey, and you create your own home. Home is where happiness is, right?
Yeah.
Well, I love the song. We're going to play it for our listeners because we're almost out of time
We're out
today.
of time.
But listen, please tell everybody where they can go to find you, to buy your music.
Yes.
Tell them where they can follow you.
Emmanuel Kelly Official is my Instagram and is my Facebook, or just Emmanuel Kelly on my Facebook. And then on Twitter is Emmanuel K Twitter. I will admit I don't really use Twitter that much.
I feel ya.
Dead, but
Where can they buy Never Alone, though?
you can buy Never Alone on iTunes right
Nice.
now.
And it's
available.
Emmanuel Kelly, Never Alone?
Edith Never Alone. If they
Edith.
type in, even if they type in
EDIS.
EDIS.
Okay.
EDIS.
But
Never
type in
Alone.
Emmanuel Kelly.
Or Emmanuel Kelly, you'll
Yeah.
find it. And
And
then
you've-
it's also on Spotify,
Yeah.
Apple Music,
Yeah.
YouTube.
And I think the lyric video has like over 1 million views already.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I released it a
That's
couple months ago.
amazing.
Yeah.
Emmanuel, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for being our guest. We got to get you back again sometime.
Yes,
we
for
say this
sure.
all the
When
time.
you come to visit LA,
Yeah, whenever you're back
Yes.
into
since
LA.
you're leaving us.
And different is normal. Right?
Yes, different
And
is
so
normal.
I do want to chuck one message out there, and
Sure.
that is to every record label in this industry.
Yeah.
And every entertainment company in this industry, I want to say to you guys, remember that different is normal. Start putting that out there and start signing those different artists, because
Yep.
they're the ones that are probably going to make you the most money.
There you go.
And make the most change.
Absolutely.
Make
Well, we
and
want to
make
get
the
to the
most
song.
changes.
Please tune in next week. We're here every single Tuesday at 7 p.m. PST, 10 Eastern Standard. Next week, we have Amanda LeCount. So excited, you guys, if you don't know who she is a plus size, incredible chicky doodle. She dances her ass off. She's so inspiring. She's going to be here next week. And follow us again to Plus Size Divas.
Yeah, hit us up. We're looking for sponsors for September. DM us.
And again, thank you to Cordoba Creatives, Cordoba Photography. Go check him out. DM him. You guys, this is Emmanuel Kelly. Eat us, never alone.
Thanks,
We're going
guys.
to play it right now. Thank you for tuning in, everybody.
There's moments in a lifetime that give us soul a lifeline and give us strength to walk a lane. You are the grace inside of me. You are the face that's with me. How can I not feel so blessed? In a time when I am moving on, you'll always be my home. Open my eyes, I know you're in front of me. Open my mind, I know you're with me. And through my life, I know you're beside me. I won't ever be alone. And through the storm, I know you hold me. I felt the hand of love, it touched me. And in everything you do, you change my world. I will never be alone. I will never be alone. The days will shine more brightly.
And we go here. Good work, everybody.
Boom.
You're listening to Plus Size Divas with Deanna and Carmen, only on LA Talk Radio.